Hello, everyone. Welcome to Saturday, March 8th, 2025. You are here with Robin at In the Family Way Coaching, and we're here for our daily Bible reading. I'm so glad that you're here with me today. We are going through the entire Bible in 1 year, and we are reading it with the Day by Day Kids Bible, which has been written by Karen Henley. If you are new to this event, thank you so much for joining me. The Day by Day Kids Bible is not just for kids. This is simply a simplified version of the Bible that is easy to understand, and it's pretty complete, but it's not every single story with every single detail. It is in chronological form, and it gives us the big overview story from Genesis to Revelation. And so far, we've been having a great time this year, and I'm glad that you have found us today and that you are joining us. Don't be discouraged that it's just for kids. It is not just for kids. Every day we have application of how it can be used daily in your life and in mine. So if you are following along, I have a calendar that's available for download on my site. And if you have any kind of a calendar that you are using to keep track of your daily commitment to read the Bible each day, it's time to get that calendar out because you're about to read the Bible today. If you have not yet seen my calendar for download and you are new here, I have that free download available for you on my site at www.inthefamilywaycoaching.com, and you can find that under the tab of Read the Bible in 1 year. You can also find the audio version of this event. Also on my site, I have recently added that to my site. So we have the audio version as well as the video version. So if it's easier for you to just pop open a website or you don't like to use podcasting apps, I'm not really big into apps myself, I confess. I just don't care for apps in general. I tend to do everything via the web. And this is definitely available on the web on YouTube, and you can watch it on there or on my site. And you can also now listen to the audio on my site. And there will be a drop-down menu under the Read the Bible in 1 year heading, and now you can just listen. So thank you for being here, whether you are just watching or whether you are just listening. I appreciate you being here. Thank you so much for joining me today. We are reading the story of David, and we have been seeing that David has been chased by Saul. And today we are going to continue in that. We're going to find that Saul, even though he has already told David that he will not hurt him, he is back to try to hurt him again today. Today's reading comes to us from 1 Samuel chapter 26, and it's just that chapter today. If you feel that there are more details involved and you are interested and you are hungry for more of God's Word, I would encourage you to head up your big Bible and check out the full chapter of chapter 26, but our version is pretty complete. This chapter is entitled, In Saul's Camp at Night. The people of Ziph went to Saul. "We know the hill where David is hiding," they said. So Saul took his men to the Ziph desert. They were going to look for David there. They camped by the road on a hill. Now David was in the desert, and he found out that Saul had followed him there. So David secretly went to Saul's camp. Saul was in the middle of camp, lying down, and he saw Saul and Abner lying there. His men were sleeping all around him. "Who will go with me into the camp?" asked David. "I will," said one of David's men. So that night David and the other man went quietly into Saul's camp. They went up to Saul. He was sleeping. His spear was sticking in the ground by his head. Abner and the other men were sleeping around Saul. "This is the day," said the man with David. "God is giving your enemy to you. I can kill him with one blow. Let me pin him to the ground." "No," said David. "He is the one God chose to be king. If we kill him, we're to blame. God will get him. He will die from old age or in a fight. But I'm not going to be the one who kills him. Let's take his spear and his jug of water. They're close to his head. Then let's get out of here." So David took Saul's spear and jug of water. Then the two men left. Nobody saw them. Nobody knew about it. Nobody woke up. God had made them sleep deeply. David went across to the top of the hill. It was far enough away that Saul couldn't get to him. Then David yelled to Abner, "Abner! Don't you have an answer for me?" Who is there?" asked Abner. "Who is calling?" "Are you a man?" asked David. "Why didn't you guard your king? Somebody came to kill him. This doesn't look good. You and the whole army should die. You didn't guard your king. Just look. Where is the king's spear? Where is the jug of water that was by his head?" Saul knew David's voice. He said, "Is that you, David?" "Yes, my king," said David. "Why are you chasing me? What did I do wrong? Listen to me. Maybe God sent you against me, but maybe men talked you into chasing me. If God sent you against me, then I hope God will forgive me. But if men talked you into chasing me, then I hope God sends them bad things. They have chased me away. You're hunting me like you'd hunt birds in the mountain. But I'm not important. I'm like a tiny bug to you. The king has come to hunt a tiny bug." "I have sinned," said Saul. "Come back to me. You thought my life was important today, so I won't try to hurt you anymore. I've been a fool, and I've done a great wrong." "Here is your spear," said David. "Send a young man over here to get it. God will bring good to people who do what is right. God will bring good to people who keep following him. God gave you to me today, but I wouldn't kill the one God chose as king. I think your life is important, so I hope God thinks my life is important. I hope he saves me from my troubles." "I hope God gives you good things," said Saul. "You'll do great things. I'm sure you will win." Then David left, and Saul went back home. And that's the end of our reading today. Well, we see today that David once again had mercy on Saul, that he was determined to do the right thing and to not hurt Saul. This time, he took the jug and the spear to show that he had been there. And the first time he was within close range of the king, he cut off a piece of his robe, but he immediately felt guilty for that because he had damaged his clothing. And this time, he only took something temporarily to show that he could have hurt Saul if he wanted to. So what he's trying to show the king is that he has absolutely no intention of causing him any harm, and therefore neither should King Saul do anything to cause harm to David, because there's nothing to warrant this behavior that the king is exhibiting, is showing. And the king once again feels convicted for his sin, and he has said that he will not hurt Saul. We'll see later on if he keeps his word again or not. But so far, Saul has said many times that he will not hurt David, but he still goes after David to hurt him anyways. And yet, despite the many times that Saul has come after him and chased him, and the times that David has had the opportunity to hurt him, he is still making sure to be merciful. The same way our God is merciful with us, and the same way he wants us to be merciful with other people. We talked about mercy last time when we saw David showing mercy to King Saul. And he's also showing restraint. He is showing good judgment. Restraint is when you choose not to do something, even though you could. We talked last time in this situation that true power is shown by having restraint and by having control over yourself, like God does. God is way more powerful than you or I or anyone on this entire earth. And we have seen so far in our Bible reading that God is capable of anything. Nothing is impossible for God. And yet, with all the power that God has, He chooses to be good and perfect and loving and merciful and kind and gracious. And He is a wonderful God. And that is why He asks us to be this way too, because He Himself has every ability to not have to do so. But that is not who our God is. Our God is loving and caring and wonderful, and He wants to have us as His children behave the same way. So let's look at David's example today, and we will use that as our daily application. That David, who has a heart like God, is showing mercy. He is showing kindness. He is showing wisdom. And he is showing that even though he had the power and the ability to hurt, he chose not to. Now, he didn't go around bragging about that. He simply used that time in order to save himself so that he could show Saul and prove to him that he truly had no intention whatsoever of hurting Saul, even though he could have. And so it's not that we go around and say, "Oh, I could hurt you if I wanted to." That's not what being merciful or gracious is. It's simply choosing to do the right thing and not bragging about it. But if it comes down to somebody hurting us, then we can use that as our example and say, "Look, I'm not hurting you. I could have, but I'm choosing not to. So please don't hurt me." And we can think about David when we have that opportunity. And it's not a fun situation to be in when somebody could possibly hurt you. And sometimes people in our daily lives can try to be mean to us too. And it's not just somebody trying to chase us and kill us. It could be, but I hope that that doesn't happen to anybody here. Instead, it can be words that somebody has mean words. And instead of using mean words back, we can use our nice words and say things like, "I'm not hurting you. I would prefer you not hurt me." And then hopefully they will listen to you. And we can pray about it as David did today. So that's our daily application today. And that's an example of how we can try to use our mercy and our forgiveness. David is definitely showing forgiveness for Saul too. He's not holding a grudge against him. Instead, he is trying to be respectful, knowing that it is God who is in charge. And even when somebody is mean to us, God is still in charge. So I hope that we're able to remember that too. It's hard when those times come up. Those are definitely not one of the first things we want to think about. But we can try and we can do our best. And so that's part of our daily application too, is that I pray that God will remind us of David when we have struggles like these, and to remember that God is the one who is in charge, and eventually He will take care of things the way He wants them to be taken care of. In this case, David is waiting for Saul to be taken care of in death by God, not by him. So thank you for joining me today. I hope that you are not discouraged by our reading today. It can be a tough one. I hope that you are encouraged by our reading today. And I'm glad that you were with me today for this reading. If you feel that God has lit your light, then after the end of this video, please click the light button. It looks like a thumbs up or a heart, but it's really a light button. And together we are lighting up the world and the internet and the podcasts and the YouTube to show God's Word. And let's help spread the word about reading God's Word. Thank you for joining me today. I'll see everybody again tomorrow.